What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Brown on Demand, where growth and elevation are what the plan, honey. So, in today's episode, I want to talk about child support. Yes, child support. How do you guys feel about it? Do y'all have y'all's child's father or your child's mother on child support? Did it help your co parenting situation or did it hurt your co parenting situation? So, I am the type of person, I feel like I'm a very understanding woman. I was once married before and I am no longer married anymore. From that marriage that I had with my ex husband, we had one child together, which is our daughter. Around the time when I left her father, we were still married. My daughter was really, really young. She was about 3 years old. Fast forward to now, she's 14. Keep that in mind. She is 14. So I'm going to go back. When I left the marriage, when my daughter was about 3 years old, I didn't have my mindset on getting a divorce. I did marry at a very, very young age. And of course, just like any other married couple, you have good intentions and plans and goals to stay married, right? Although we were very, very young, I got married at 18. He was 19. He was also in the military. Y'all already know how that go. So before we got married, of course, we did have people in our ear telling us together and individually that we were too young to be married. But y'all know how puppy love go. We were definitely in love and we decided to follow through with it. With him being in the military, he did have to travel outside of the state where we met. And that was another reason why we decided to end up getting married because we wanted to be together. And at that time in the military, the only way that you could be with your spouse or your significant other is if you guys were married. So, of course, that became the top priority on our list. So, fast forward a whole lot of other stuff. Like I said, this episode is solely about child support. If you guys want to know about my marriage story, I can talk about that at a later date in another episode. But today, your girl wants to talk about child support and the issue that a lot of people have with it. So back to what I was saying. Once we separated, of course, it was never in my first mind, oh, I'm gonna put him on child support. No, I mean that was my husband. We were still legally by law married. Also, when I was married, I was a stay-at-home wife. I had never worked a job really. Only time I worked was when I was a teenager, and it was something very, very small and for a very short time. So that whole time of being married, the first 3 years, I solely depended on him. Like I said, I never worked. We relocated out of state. I really didn't have much friends at all either. But once I had the baby, I did move back to my hometown where we met and I was around family so that I could have a smoother transition into motherhood because before I left him, he also had deployed. So once all of that happened and we were together, we were back in the state where we first originally met at, and he was no longer in the military. So when I left, I ended up having to move in with my mom for a little bit of time, which also meant that I needed to find a job because now reality was setting in that I was about to be the only one taking care of our daughter. Um, Within that transition of me knowing that I also needed to find work, I needed to put my daughter in daycare. I've always loved working with children, so for me to speed up the process, kill two birds with one stone, and to be able to afford a daycare, I decided to work at the daycare where my daughter was attending. So that did help me out with a discount. A very small discount, but hey, a discount is a discount and it's better than nothing at all. So I'm not going to complain. Not only did I have to pay for childcare, I also had to pay where I was living at as well and take care of us. It was no longer the big income that he once had, it was just my income. So, throughout that time of me transitioning into becoming a single mother, I didn't notice it at the time. I was just really just doing what I needed to do, not really paying attention to if my marriage was completely falling apart, if it was something that we can work on or not. What I knew at that moment is what kind of motivated me and pushed me to move is that I had a child and I felt like things were not being taken care of. The benefits of having two people in a household, um, it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. And my ex-husband at the time did have some moments of where he couldn't find work and all of that stuff. But when it was around the time that we were separated, I would reach out to him needing financial help to pay for daycare or just to pay for little stuff for her, whether it be clothes or shoes. Because remind you, I was working at a daycare. And if you guys didn't know, daycare workers do not get paid anything at all. And I am in a state where the minimum wage is still like maybe 7.50. It might be a little bit more than that, but back then at that time, I believe that I was getting paid $7.50. Yes, $7.50 for my hard work. But of course, I did what I had to do, and not only that, this was my first real job working, so I was more so proud of myself knowing that even though I was about to make this transition into being separated, that I was at least able to get a job and have some kind of income. Even though it wasn't enough or a lot, I was still proud of myself for taking that leap of faith and making sure I got from point A to point B and to do what I needed to do for myself and for my daughter to make sure that she was fed and clothed and just lived comfortably. So, not only that, like I said, it was pretty tough with the whole transition. It wasn't a lot of money. I had no help for him. He was not voluntarily coming to me saying, okay, well, here's some money for me to take care of our daughter. It was none of that, which was a huge shock to me. Like, how do you go from having a family, wanting a family, and completely not helping your spouse out or taking care of your child? But reality hit, and that was my situation. After asking multiple times for some kind of financial help to pay for daycare or for food, I was told no. And being told no by someone you once loved and someone who kind of put you in that situation to be a parent, of course, it takes two, but in my situation, it was a little bit different. Um, but once I was told no one too many times, I realized that we definitely had a problem here. Reality hit again that, okay, this is not the type of guy that is just going to take care of his responsibilities on his own. So not only am I having a full transition of leaving my marriage, I'm also having the realization that I'm going to be a single parent. Things are getting worse because he's not financially helping me. So not only was he checked out of the marriage, it was like he was checked out of his responsibilities as a parent. So all of that at once was just a lot to me. And I'm not the type of person, I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I'm not going to keep begging you. You know what your responsibilities are, and you need to take care of your responsibilities. But like I said, that was not the case. He had no intentions on trying to take care of his responsibilities. If there were times where he did have money, let's just say I would ask for $100 instead of the 100, he would give me 80. It's like it was terrible to give whatever I asked for, and that is really what started letting me know that, hey, I might need a third party situation to bring in some enforcement for this man to financially take care of his child, because we also know when you split or you separate, sometimes some people be wilding. Some people be wilding, and I get during that time, you also use it as a time of freedom. You want to figure out yourself. Some people end up thinking, okay, I don't have no wife and kid no more. I'm gonna just spend all the money on myself. That is very immature to do, and it's irresponsible. And in my situation, that is what I was saw. That is something that I saw happening in front of my face. Like every time he came around to even see his daughter, it was new clothes, new shoes, but there was never really nothing given to me to take care of her, so she could be fresh to death too. So after a while, I struggled with paying for daycare, and that was an issue for me. Even though I had a discount, it was still hard because, like I said, I was only getting paid like $7.50, and I was working full time, and it wasn't enough. And then I had also, oh yeah, I eventually moved out of my mom's place, and I had to get my own place. So now I'm paying full rent, gas, food, utilities, cell phone, taking care of the child, any and everything she needed, I tried to get for her. So once I started struggling with daycare, I found out that there was a program that you could use in order to get some assistance with childcare. And that was a program called Neighborhood Center. And this program was designed to help either moms that were going to school full or part time, or to help single mothers with childcare. But the catch was that you had to put the father on child support. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like some people hate child support because now you had to bring in somebody else. But this is the thing, when there's these government agencies out here to help these moms, this shouldn't even be here. I mean, it should, but at the same time, it's like, why should an agency have to come in and help you with another man's child? This man know that he fathered a kid, and you know that you have children, then you need to take care of them. No woman should have to go take herself to an agency to ask for some assistance, especially when there's a father out here able to fend for himself and take care of his child. So that's what I had to do. I pretty much had to put him on child support in order for me to get this child care assistance. And when I say they make sure you put the father on child support, because it's like, honey, if I'm going to be helping you out, oh, it's definitely going to come back. He's going to eventually take care of his child one way or another, either now or later. So I brought it up to him. Of course, he was upset about it, and I explained, like, you're not helping me. This is the only way I can get this kind of assistance. When I do ask you for money, it's never on a consistent basis. It's never like on a schedule or anything like that. And neither one of us were at a place where we were mature enough to really communicate, sit down, come up with the plan. I brought it up, but it was just too much craziness going on at the time. So with me getting the neighborhood centers program, it did help with childcare. And like I said, they do check and make sure that you put the father on child support. They have computers already ready, already set up on the web page and everything. They have the instructions and tell you how to do it and all. Now thinking back, it's kind of fucked up, but I mean, it is what it is. If people would just take care of their responsibilities, we wouldn't need to go through government agencies or all these hoops and hurdles just to get a little bit of coin to be able to take care of our child so that they could live comfortably. If I want that for my child, you should as well. What is the difference between me and you? Why is it that I know how to be responsible? Why is it that I want to make sure that she's fed, clothed, and living comfortably, but you just don't care? I mean, there's a lot of men out there that do that. And again, I am not talking to the fathers who pay their child support, who visit their kids, who make sure that the moms are straight, and even the men who are paying for their children and are not on any kind of papers. Shout out to you guys. You did not need anybody else to make you take care of your child. And if I was a man and I was put on child support, especially if I had the other parent try to come to me and work out something, I would really be embarrassed, because that being on child support, sometimes it screams I need to be held accountable for my own child. That's lame. And I know there are some people that abuse it. I'm not talking to those. I'm really genuinely talking to the people who need the help, who need the assistance, who are out here taking care of their kids, struggling, and the other parent is, or it appears to be that they are living their best life. Even though deep down inside, you can never be living your best life when you know that you have fathered or mothered kids and you're not at a place or there for them. It's kind of like a disservice to that child. So I won't really say that the other party would be out here living their best life. What I can say is that they're just not helping. They're not facing the struggle that you might be facing, taking care of this child all alone by yourself. You understand? So yeah, the agency makes you put the parent on child support, and then they pretty much help you out for a little while. And once you get your help, that little bit of money that you begin to get for child support should be able to cover for daycare. So it's kind of like, I'm gonna help you out a little bit, but eventually this guy over here needs to get himself together. So that's what it was. And I ended up having to do that. Unfortunately, like I said, in my situation, the other party was not trying to take care of their responsibilities on their own. So I had to do what was best for me and my child and do what I needed to do. So yeah, that's my story on child support. And okay, so fast forward to now, 11 years later, we are still in the same situation. And I was just sitting here thinking, I'm like, if it were the other way around, and I was the non-custodial parent, I'm the one that don't have full custody of the child, and I had to make monthly payments. There's no way that I could be okay with knowing that I'm not taking care of my child. And it's so many men out here who they could be working a job, and soon as it comes across HR's desk that they will begin to have funds garnished due to child support or back pay, they jump ship on a job. That's I just don't understand that mindset. And I get it that some people might think like I work so hard, like, and child support is getting all of my money. This is the thing. If you would take care of your business now instead of later, it won't keep piling up and piling up and piling up, weighing heavy on your heart, on your mind. And I think that that's something that a lot of fathers forget. Because as a woman, and once you become a mom, that's your child is your all, your any and everything. You now have a responsibility to take care of a kid for the rest of their life, not just until they're 18, but for the rest of their life. I'm a full grown adult and I have a daughter, and I still call my mom at least every day or every other day just because that's my mom. And motherhood and being a parent is just so important. And it's like, I don't see how some people just completely give the bare minimum on that role that they play in their life. Like, becoming a parent is one of the best blessings there is out here. It teaches you so much about yourself, about other people, about other kids. And it's like, parenting just isn't about taking care of a kid financially. You have to be there to help mold them into the person that you see fit for them. Even though, of course, they're going to grow up and become adults and do whatever the hell they want to do, anyways. But as the parent, you're supposed to give them a solid, good foundation for them to start out their identity for the rest of their life. And I think it's a huge disservice when men try to back out on financially taking care of their child. Because what you guys don't think about is that mom suffers. She may do it with a smile. She may never ask. She may never complain. She may look like she got it. She may do it how she does it. But behind the scenes, you don't know what that woman goes through taking care of those children by herself. Not only do you have the responsibility of being responsible for a child emotionally and financially, you now have the pressure on yourself to do it and make it look good because it's just you doing it. So it's not fair to the women who work just as hard having one job that look forward to having some kind of financial assistance for the support and the maintenance of the upkeep of their child. A lot of these men have it twisted thinking that child support is for the mom. Yeah, there are some people out here that definitely use and abuse child support, but there are also a huge majority, a huge amount of women and men who could use the financial help taking care of the kids. Because when you are just one person, especially if you are a woman, let's just say you don't have a degree, let's just say you've been doing the best that you can at your job, slowly climbing up the ladder. It may not be enough for you to be the sole provider, but in your case, since you already are a parent and a single parent, you're going to have to do what you have to do. Is it fair to that child if that mother has to work two and three jobs just to make ends meet? It's not fair to her because now that she has to think about, she has to pay more. If she works two and three jobs, she might need a babysitter. She's going to have to put in more money for gas to travel to those places. And not only that, that mother or father's time with their child is diminished because now they have to work these extra jobs just to financially be able to take care of the house. And it's just not fair, and I don't think a lot of people think about it like that. I think a lot of guys just feel like, oh, it's just a ball and chain around my arms and on my ankle for me to financially always have this responsibility. Dude, you should always have that mindset regardless. Whether you're with that child's mother or not, you are going to be held accountable for having this child. Every day that you look up and look in the mirror and know that you have fathered a kid, that should be enough pressure on you alone to say, hey, I got to get out here and grind. Think about generational wealth. Like for the men that are out here that are not helping take care of their child, like what are you showing that child? Because your kid ends up growing up and getting to an age where they realize, okay, when there's a mom and a dad, sometimes I'm able to get a little bit more. Or some people know that it's supposed to be two taking care of things. Or some people see their mom struggle with two and three jobs and never have time for them, and it's just not fair. So I think a lot of people should really think about why child support is in place. It is definitely to be as a guide to enforce these people to financially pay for their children. And it's sad that a third party needs to be added in just to make sure that you are being consistent. Again, shout out to the ones who make their payments, who see their kids, who follow the rules, and who lead with love in their families and do what it is that they have to do. But like I was saying, years later, I am still in a situation. And I just wanted to come on and just talk about child support. For some people, it makes things better. Some people, it hurts them. And I think for the moms that are out there that are solely dependent on child support, ladies, you have to wake up because there could be a day that anything happens. Like, what if something happens to the father and there's no more check that comes in? You have to start thinking of ways to really bring in more money to where you and your kids can live comfortably without depending on waiting for that next check. It has been a wake up call and a reality to me because it's been years that I have had my child's father on child support, but it hasn't been that equal amount of years that there has been a consistency with receiving child support. So honestly, a lot of it doesn't count. But the times when I have received it over the years, of course, it comes in clutch. Like, no one is gonna turn away from receiving a little bit of money because when you are a mom and you're just working at one job by yourself, you might be paying the big bills. And so there may not be anything left over for you to cover all the miscellaneous things just for, entertainment. And if that little payment hits, it definitely can help out and go a long way. And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss is that it's better to help than to not do anything at all. Because one thing for sure is if you don't take care of your kids now, you will definitely have to take care of them later. And you won't be able to live and go throughout your life being blessed with consistency in your own life. If you cannot consistently provide care emotionally and financially for your own seed, then what makes you think that you will be blessed with the consistency of emotional and financial stability? So don't repeat the cycle. Don't make it worse for yourself or make it worse for your child. If you want to ball on a little bit of money that you have now and think that, hey, you'll deal with it later, I have seen people in situations where their children are grown and in college, maybe even married, and they're still paying back pay because they decided to not take care of their responsibilities. And paying the parent of an adult child years later after that child has maybe moved on and started their own family, it's not a good feeling to that guy. But just keep in mind and think about how that woman felt all of those times and all of those years when she had to struggle or when she always had to overthink on how she was going to come up with the money for field trips or just for anything for the child. Yeah, things got done, but just how men feel about money and it hurts their pride and ego when they don't have it. Imagine a woman that is the head of household, has the responsibility of taking care of their child alone. How that feels for her, knowing that there's another parent out there that's just choosing not to help. They decided to put their bid in that they were not going to help. Imagine how it makes that woman or that man feels that's getting up every day, grinding, making sure that they're making a way for their child. It's a consistent slap in the face that, hey, I'm not going to be there for my child financially. But it's okay. It is okay. Because one thing I believe is that God will always and continuously make a way with or without child support. But that is something I wanted to talk about because I'm still just baffled at the large amount of men and women who are on child support and just refuse to pay, who drag their feet, who sleep on financially taking care of their child. Your child is getting older and they see that. They see that they might not have things that other people have. They deal with that energy of seeing their mom or the parent overwhelmed or working all the time. But I just wanted to come on and tell my story and my situation on child support and how I feel about it. I, again, do not think that it's a bad idea, especially for those who just choose not to help at all, I think it is good that you can bring in an agency that will definitely enforce the non custodial parent to take care of their financial responsibilities. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's better than you having to work 2 and 3 jobs and not being physically or emotionally available for your child. And I think more people should consider the negative effects that it has on the parent and the child when the non custodial parent does not take care of their responsibilities, and how it just makes that child or that family look as a whole. So, fellas out there who are doing a great job taking care of their responsibilities with or without child support, I salute you, and it's good that you are taking care of your responsibilities. For the moms that are out there that are single parents that are struggling, listen to me. You will be okay. I know, trust me, if anybody knows, I know. I could be in a situation right now, and that's what has led me to get in front of this camera and let you guys know my story and how I feel about child support. And to those moms, don't hurt yourself. I understand you want to keep a roof over your children's head. You may have signed yourself up to work a second job, but pay close attention and be very mindful of who you are leaving your children with. Do you want to risk them not having a lot of time with you and somebody else raising them? Have a talk with your kids and really see how they feel about how much you work. You'll find out that a lot of times your kids don't want you to work a lot. Even though you got to do what you got to do, there are other ways to do what you need to do. Make sure you continue to pray and work and think smart and take care of your kids. And I hope the men out there who are just living life still creating kids and not taking care of your kids, you just simply don't like yourself. But don't inflict that shit on your children. Like, you need to get out there, work, and take care of your child. Real talk, because it's just not fair to moms and to dads out here who are doing everything by themselves. To the ones who got it, you got it. Hey, salute to you. But still, it's the principle. It is definitely the principle that counts. When you lay down to have a child, both parties need to be responsible. And I mean that. But, anyways, that is all I have for today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for another episode of Mingle with Brown. I will be back. Who knows? I might put this on my vlog channel or on my podcast channel. My podcast channel is Brown on Demand Podcast here on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Brown on Demand. Make sure to check me out for the next episode that I drop. Don't be shy. Come back. Keep elevating, ladies.